on Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
DBU on 312, brought to you in partnership with by Chicago Window Guys. And congratulations to the Chicago White Sox, because it's a big deal for what this team has been through to be over 500 this late in the season. They're 22-21. And I know this could possibly fall under damning with faint praise and saying, "Oh, look, the lowly White Sox have finally done something that merits some kind of credit." But no, it does. It is a big deal, and that's okay to be excited about it. And why not? Because I don't know that they're getting good, because this is a probably a corollary to my belief that the best time to be a fan of a professional sports team is when you know they're getting good. I don't think they're getting good, but this version is, it's okay to be relieved when you know your team has grown beyond total laughingstock. So maybe I am damning with praise. I hear myself say it, but yeah, it's all right to say, all right, they've done something that is worth noting. They're 22-21. They're a game back in the AL Central. But God, the American League is awful. And even in a terrible American League, the White Sox current playoff percentage chances, as of right now, 8.7% on Fangraphs. All right, so you're saying there's a chance. 8.7% playoff percentage for the White Sox at their current record of 22-21, the win percentage of 512. And I'm going to repeat everything that I said last time when we talked about the White Sox in this space, and that is the fact that Colson Montgomery is good is the most important aspect of what's going on right now. If your young shortstop is good, that's huge offensively and defensively. Colson Montgomery being good matters a lot. And it seems like he's good. So that's very exciting. And now the Cubs and the Sox will square off. And we urge you not to fall into the bullpen if you're near the bullpen, because then you're just wasting everybody's time. So good times we'll see if the weather holds. I don't know exactly. The weather might be a little sketchy the weekend. So I think tomorrow's supposed to be fairly rainy. I don't know if we're going to have some long delays, or just make sure you're checking the weather if you're planning on going to these games. So I'm just going to remind you of that. And because it's Friday today, we have both our Friday Feedback Friday, and we also have a top 10 list. And I have to admit that when we get to this, it became something I did not intend. It started out as one thing, and then it turned into something else. And I think the interesting thing is going to be the something else that it turned into. So we will get to that. And let's get to Friday Feedback Friday. Now, I have to say that the mail that has come in, I never know exactly what's going to hit a nerve, what exactly is going to find that sense of I must communicate with a podcast. I have to be heard. I have to send in what is being said at this podcast so I can be a part of this. Well, it appears that this week there were a couple of things to which you reacted, and they've been coming in all week. And one of the things was Popeye. But let me just say this, that there was a question as to whether or not the character Popeye was actually in the Navy. For a lot of you sent in basically stuff from your Gemini AI searches or Wikipedia. Or that. I've got all that stuff. I did not have this. And that was the question as to whether or not the character of Popeye was a sailor or was a member or a former member of the actual U.S. Navy. So thank you to Pete in Westtown. And Pete said there was a cartoon called The Mighty Navy that featured Popeye. And according to canon, so canonically, he is in the U.S. Navy. He enlisted in the Navy in 1941. He proceeded to eat a can of spinach, load himself into a torpedo tube, and fire himself at an enemy destroyer. Following the mighty Navy, his naval uniform became a Popeye staple. There. So that is now done. That has been established. That is handled. It is taken care of.
All right. So he was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy.
Beautiful.
And then you remember we read something last week about the guy using marshmallow peeps for s'mores.
Yep.
And that also brought out some response. Joe in Beverly said, a listener sent that s'mores hack using peeps in lieu of marshmallows, where the sugar on the outside caramelizes. I will definitely be trying that hack this summer. We tried a bunch of s'mores hacks in the backyard during the pandemic, and I thought I would share some that worked. One, instead of using Hershey's chocolate, use the flavored Ghirardelli squares. All of the Ghirardelli flavors bring a different spin on the s'more, but a s'more with mint chocolate or sea salt and caramel, game changers. Ooh, I like that. I also like their peppermint white chocolate. I don't know if that's exactly going to work on a s'more, but I'm willing to try it.
Yep.
Number two, instead of using a graham cracker, use pretzel thins. The salty pretzel combined with the sweetness of the marshmallow and chocolate is a great combination. Joe, those are both outstanding suggestions and much appreciated. We also had discussed Michael Bean when I was talking about that Corporal Hicks would use that term, stay frosty.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Dan who said, I heard you mention Michael Bean on the pod. My brother-in-law met him a few months back. And knowing that we're big fans of the Aliens movies, he was kind enough to get us Michael Bean's autograph, which is framed in our home office. And he signed it to us with the advice, stay frosty. And it is indeed a picture of Michael Bean as Hicks. And it says, to Karen and Dan, stay frosty. I like it. I did not know.
Cool.
That, yeah, I didn't know that he used that as his special catchphrase, but very, very cool. On the idea of no ketchup on hot dogs that we had also discussed, and the not yucking yums and let people do what they want, and understanding why that started. This was Mark, and he said, I'd like to explain where my lifelong aversion to ketchup on a hot dog came from. It was not culinary sophistication. It is not any Chicago tradition. It was Clint Eastwood. In 1983, I was an impressionable 11-year-old kid, and my dad took me to see Sudden Impact. And he actually sends the video, and he said, that was it. Case closed. When Dirty Harry says, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts ketchup on a hot dog. Said, at 11 years old, Dirty Harry, the coolest human being on earth. If Clint Eastwood said nobody puts a ketchup on a hot dog, I'm not going to be that guy. There's no cultural food principle. It's an 80 movies quote, rewiring a child's brain. And let's completely ignore everything else about Clint Eastwood. But in 1983, he was Dirty Harry, and Dirty Harry had spoken. I do remember that. That was the movie with Go Ahead, Make My Day. And I think the reason why there's the hot dog reference is in the original movie, Dirty Harry, in that defining scene when he's pointing his Smith & Wesson Model 29, I think it is, 44 Magnum, and he says, in all the hubbub, I don't know if I fired 6 shots or only 5. Yeah, ask yourself, do I feel lucky? And he's pointing it at him. He's eating a hot dog.
I think the better line as he's pointing the gun at someone is saying, do I feel lucky?
Well, I think that is the line. Ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Well, you?
Ask yourself. But he's asking himself if he feels lucky.
Yeah, if I feel lucky,
find out.
I feel lucky. I'm holding the gun.
I'm holding the gun. I'm lucky.
But he's eating a hot dog.
Yeah.
And as he's shooting people, as the it's all breaking out, there was hot dog symbolism. I don't know what it means or what the point of it all is. But I think that's why it came up in 1983. But Mark, thank you very much for sending that in. It is appreciated.
All right, hey, can I share an email with you real quick?
Of
Because
course.
I need your help to think through this email here.
All right.
This comes to us from Kevin in Jefferson Park. He says, "Hello, men.
Hello.
As someone who's worked on cruise ships, I got a kick out of had eye-twitching flashbacks during your cruise discussion. One quibble, Matt. I'm sincerely glad you had a good time on your cruises, but saying that cruising is fun because you didn't have problems on your Viking tour is like saying, I don't know why everyone is complaining about their exploding Dodge Darts. My Ferrari works great."
Okay, because Viking is
an
known
outlier.
as
Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't say that I didn't have any problems on my Viking cruise. I said I had a spectacular time on my Viking cruise. Also mentioned how I had a great time on the Disney cruise that we took. It was fantastic, top to bottom. Why should I be held at fault for paying a little more to go somewhere that I know is fantastic with fantastic service and accommodations when other people choose to go on other cruise lines that are, as he puts it, great wolf lodges with a higher risk of infection? If you choose to do that, like if you know what you're getting into, then that's what you deserve to get. Like, why should I be at fault because I chose a cruise line that is spectacular?
I think he's letting you off the hook is what he's doing. I don't think he's faulting you at all. Okay, because I just found this email.
Yeah, because I mean he's saying that cruises suck. But if you're gonna go somewhere shitty, yeah, you're gonna have a shitty time. Right?
Okay, this is hilarious.
It's like going to a place you know that has terrible hamburgers and thinking, oh my God, all hamburgers blow. Okay, then go to a place that has better hamburgers.
Right. He says Viking is an outlier. The Disney cruise is run as well as it is because they have to abide by the strictures of Big Mouse. This is really fun. Do you want to read the rest of this?
The rest of the cruise industry, by and large, is focused on cramming as many people as they can into a barely regulated tub flagged out of a dummy core in the Caribbean with nickel and diming said waddlers for everything. They're floating great wolf lodges with a higher risk of infection. It's long if you want to keep reading it. Go ahead.
The default theme of every standard cruise is Blue Lives Matter. Everyone is named Todd or Leanne. All of them are the neighbor who tells you that where you live used to be nice before insert ethnic group moved in. If they brought their family, the children are mandated by law to scream cry like they're being constantly electrocuted, especially while you're trying to have dinner at one of the restaurants on board that charges a cover. Tired of having to make small talk with American racists? Great news. You can make small talk with European racists. They're really good at it too. They invented it. They are all named Clive and Nancy, exchange rates being what they are, and they came to drink Heineken, berate the staff, and throw up in the casino. When you swerve around that puddle, knock, knock, who's there? Swingers, the Todds and Leannes who've taken to the high seas to partner swap, and they only know how to interact with their fellow cruisers in the creepiest way possible. Hope you wanted to see someone dance suggestively to literally any song played in any part of the ship. They claim the hot tubs at the beginning of every cruise. I'd sooner swim in the water under Chernobyl than get in one of those with them. Were you trying to get a cup of coffee at the buffet? Well, while you do, a red-faced parrot head in a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt is going to tell you why it's your patriotic duty to bang his wife, who coincidentally looks exactly like him. Are these Todds and Leannes also racist? Brother, it wouldn't be a cruise if they weren't. I saw many beautiful places while working those contracts for 5 hours at a time every 2 weeks. I met many great people who were also on the crew. As for the rest, I'll leave that to Todd and Leanne. See you on the Lido deck.
Kevin, thanks for the email, buddy. Appreciate it. Good stuff. But listen, and I'm not going to denigrate any other cruise lines because I haven't been on any other cruise lines. And here's the reason why. Because I've never wanted to go on any other cruise lines. There's a reason why. Like everything that I've learned and seen and heard are just, that's not what I want to do. So choose the right ones or just don't cruise at all.
Or
like
swing,
the Viking cruise
perhaps.
lines have been outstanding. It was great. I can't wait to do another Viking cruise line.
Nobody was trying to partner swap with you?
No, and the Disney one was great too. As much as the only bad thing about it was there were so many kids, but it was great. So yeah, some of these other ones, yeah, I would avoid those at all costs. But thanks for the email, Kevin. Good stuff.
David asks, you and Maddie keep using this term. I can't figure out.
Uh-oh.
When you're describing the naming of somebody presumably famous in a film or a TV show, closed captioning shows it as IRAQ BOEING, Iraq Boeing. Clearly not it. My hearing isn't sharp anymore. I can't make out what you're saying. I tried Googling some descriptions and guesses, but no luck. Iraq Poing? Help. Yes.
Hey, I finally saw the Jim Beam commercial last night.
Bad, isn't it?
Yeah, so a guy drives through someone's fence into the backyard, and then a soccer ball flies at Tim Howard while he's in full gear.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, you look like U.S. national goalkeeper Tim Howard. I am Tim Howard. Yeah, I finally saw it.
It's bad. That is a drive-by brutal Iraq poing.
Yes.
But so that's what it is. And the word, and this is what I said. I sent this back. I said it's Iraq Poing, named after former Washington linebacker Brian Orakpo and his appearance in a Geico ad in which the Geico caveman in the locker room had to say, "Your Pro Bowl linebacker Brian Orakpo." And what it means is, like, if a celebrity in an ad also still has to be, you have to take time within the ad to stop and tell everyone who that famous person is. That's Iraq poing.
Yes.
And it questions, like, did you sign the right person for this? If, in fact, you have to tell everyone who the person is, aren't we really defeating the purpose of hiring somebody? That's all that is.
And that started decades ago in radio for us, where we made fun of that commercial whenever it was that it came out. And now whenever it happens in commercials, it flashes at me like a bright red light.
And this on that topic, Seth said there was a bizarre international Iraq poing this week.
Okay.
The tiny nation of San Marino was competing in Eurovision and brought out 64-year-old Boy George for the Eurovision entry, calling out his name because even the parents of everyone in that crowd were the only people alive when he was relevant. Okay, so Boy George, I didn't even know he was still performing.
I had no idea.
George O'Dowd, is that his name, I believe? Okay.
Boy George?
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think I've ever knew his real name.
I think it's George O'Dowd is his actual name, but I certainly could be wrong.
You are correct. George Allen O'Dowd.
There it is.
Nicely
Thank you.
done.
This is Eric. Hello, boys. You two are hitting a peak. I'm not really sure what the peak is, but it's something. You called yourselves out, but allow me to point out the gold that was your fashion discussion when you were talking about coaches. Dan is here admiring $5,000 suits, how incredible the materials are. Matt prefers NBA coaches go back to the high fashion suit life. Both of you chide the children for their pajama wardrobes. Meanwhile, Dan is buying women's socks from homeless people at expressway exits. He also wears pants that have no more ass on them because it's worn away. Matt has become a fishing shirt connoisseur, even though he doesn't fish. Then we move to Forward Progress, and Matt's level of Bears meatball is incredible. Numerous potential negative Bears results throughout the various podcasts get discussed, and the answer is always, but that's not going to happen. Even Dan can't resist. What games are the Bears going to win? All of them, he says. I think we've officially arrived at the point where a new listener would give these pods a whirl and think, what in the actual fuck am I listening to? Which to me is exactly why they're so incredibly good lately. Thanks, Eric. And then his PS is the guy who threw a rock at the seal should be stoned to death. Yeah.
I mean, I do these podcasts with you, and I wonder what the fuck am I listening to? I mean,
exactly. I don't know.
And our defense too. We even said while we were talking about how nice we want NBA coaches to dress, that we dress like slobs and very lazily. So,
yeah.
And even when we were talking about the kids wearing pajama pants.
Yes.
I mentioned that only because, and I'm sure when we're in high school, it was the same thing. Like, you dressed nice in high school.
I wore jeans and like rugby shirts.
Okay. Well, I mean, we always wanted to look nice. So we had nice jeans and nice shirts, and We always dressed up to go to school. I would have never worn sweatpants or pajama pants to school. That's why we get on the kids today. But yes, we do dress like slobs, and we don't have. Why are you dressed in a polo shirt again for 2 days in a row?
And my nice pants.
Yeah, it throws me off. Why do you do that?
I'm golfing. Jason's coming down here and like noon, and when we're done, we're going directly out to golf. That's why.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's acceptable. Can you shoot me a text in the morning before so I know?
So it doesn't freak you out that I'm wearing a collared shirt?
I just get thrown off that you're wearing a collared shirt when you come on the screen and when you appear on the screen.
Yesterday, there was a client meeting.
Yeah, yesterday was a client meeting.
Yesterday, it was like a nice business lunch, and like there were people in from out of town from the other parts of the company, and I was just kind of there.
Wait, did you eat?
I poked around at us.
Okay, so you didn't do like your regular eating. Okay.
No,
I wouldn't turn people off.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't subject anybody to that. I got
just making sure.
Like a side salad with a piece of shrimp on it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, is that good?
That's fine. That's fine. All right, golfing today. Thank you. Acceptable. Move forward, sir. Carry on with ye. Go.
There's another Popeye email.
Okay.
And he says, loving the podcast, gents. Anyone would easily assume that Popeye was in the Navy, not just because of his anchor tattoos, but he wears the traditional white enlisted sailor cap, a round brimless cotton hat, commonly called a Dixie cup in the Navy. I believe that in some instances he wears his pea coat. Both uniform items are issued to you in boot camp. Okay.
Yeah, but you could also buy those at like an Army Navy surplus store too.
You could.
If you wanted to. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. Maybe he wanted to appear to look like he was in the Navy. But Popeye was actually in the Navy.
There's one on Lincoln right there. Lincoln and forgot what the cross street is. Right there just south of Belmont. There's a nice Army Navy surplus store.
I think we should dress up. We should do a whole week of dress ups.
No.
If we have to do the clown costumes for one show.
No, I'm not doing a whole week of dress ups.
Yeah, like
it's hard enough for me to put a collared shirt on.
We could do military one day. We could go to the Army Navy surplus and get gear. We could do cowboys one day.
If I do the Army Navy surplus, I'm buying a ghillie suit.
What's a ghillie suit?
You know a ghillie suit. You look like it's a camouflage, but it's like all hair. You look like you know what I'm saying? You've seen it?
Yes.
It's like GHILLE.
Yes.
They have them.
I didn't know that was what it was called.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the name of it. Yeah. So you look like you're forest shrubbery.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So
I didn't know that was the name. Look at you.
I believe. Yeah. Ghillie suit, I think.
GHILLIE.
Yeah. I know stuff, man. You know I know stuff.
I know. You know a lot about a lot of things. Yeah, you can wear that. I think you should do that. You should do that, and I'll dress up like Popeye.
Done.
All right.
This is Mac. He said, I'm so glad you're focusing on the coaching of the Bears defense. There are other people in this town who do what you do, who take Dennis Allen's speak as gospel. And it reminds me of Ryan Poles telling us he saw things weren't right in camp with Shane Waldron, but he did nothing about it. You can't tell me the Bears didn't self-scout weekly and know in real time that their fundamentals weren't good. So what do we know? They had a ton of injuries. Dennis Allen, with relatively the healthiest crew he had all year, which is still banged up, called a gem of a game against the Rams. His track record should give us some confidence. But then you have that player report card where Dennis Allen had by far the worst grade for what was a special season. So where conjecture comes in, as Ben did say, or did Ben say, the question is, did Ben say, look at your grade on that report card. We heard this repeatedly in our exit interviews. This is on you and you need to be better. Did DA come up with this to defend his reputation? And Ben just thought to himself, sure, fall on that. Or worse, does he believe that? Robert Mays recently said his spidey sense is up on coordinators who don't have a clear and obvious success in year one. To expect them to do so in year two, regardless of injury, is typically a losing bet. Said you had a national guy rank the Bears defense dead last in posts offseason moves. I think it's a little ridiculous. And people in the league know. That's from Mac. Thank you, Mac. And of
Email.
course, of course we're on that. We're not here to cheerlead. We're not here to shine or polish your apple, whatever metaphor you want. We're here to tell you what we think about the Bears. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and I think saying that Dennis Allen is on the clock is a fair assessment, given what we've heard from Hallis Hall.
Yes. Yeah, and other things out there too. Edwin emails. I enjoyed listening to the segment this week about all the consternation and kerfuffle within college football over Lane Kiffin's comments regarding Ole Miss. But one thing that strikes me is the richness of Kiffin suggesting that some families are not going to want to send their kids to Oxford, Mississippi, but they'll be happy to send them to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Oh, really? Would it be the families who are going to be thrilled with the fact that the governor of Louisiana, who was involved in Lane Kiffin being hired as coach at LSU, has recently canceled an election while it was in progress just so the Louisiana legislature can redraw congressional maps to ensure that the state of Louisiana will not be represented in Congress by anyone who is a person of color? It seems to me there may be some trouble with those folks enrolling their kids at LSU. Edwin, thank you. The only thing missing there would be Lane Kiffin, who you're crapping. But
I don't know if you missed this text I sent you the other day, but LSU at Ole Miss, September 19th, 6:30 p.m. ABC. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to mark that one down on the calendar.
I did see. Cindy from Tacoma, Washington writes that you guys talked about the Cubs trip to Texas and how awful Globe Life Field was, with Dan putting the emphasis on the funereal corrugated roof, saying he'd rather have the AAA park in Sacramento. One of the absolute joys I've had in my life is touring the country with my bestie and fellow long-timer Zed in Schaumburg. Zed! Remember Zed?
I do, yes.
Zed from North Carolina, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It was Zed in North Carolina, then it was Zed in Schaumburg. That's right. She's great. And so Cindy says, we've watched home games in 21 of 30 Major League ballparks together, having a blast doing it. While Globe Life Field is awful, the ballpark that preceded it was worse. In 2018, we went to a Rangers Diamondbacks game at Globe Life Park, a.k.a. the ballpark in Arlington. Mm-hmm. Everything you hated about the current ballpark was amplified there, with the exception that it was open air. While the Coliseum in Oakland was a dump, Tropicana was horribly outdated, at least those ballparks had some sort of character. Globe Life didn't. Bland inside and out, felt like it was made by AI instead of being a living, breathing ballpark made by a human being. Another major disappointment, the food and the staff. The food not up to par with Oakland's food. The staff wasn't welcoming. In June, Zed and I are going on a road trip to see games at PNC in Pittsburgh, Progressive Field in Cleveland, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And if they wind up being worse than either Globe Life Park or Globe Life Field, I'll be stunned. We're also attending games at American Family Park in Milwaukee, finishing up the trip at Wrigley. And a big part of it, of the games we went to see 10 years ago, was listening to U2 and Terry back in the day, and it revitalized my love of baseball. I wanted to set out to achieve a goal that I have in going to see a home game at all 30 Major League ballparks. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'd rather have the AAA park in Sacramento than have to spend another minute at any Rangers stadium. And no, it's not because I'm a jaded Mariners fan and had to see them win a World Series before we made it to one. That's Cindy in Tacoma. Send our best to Zed.
Yes, and good stuff, Cindy. And by the way, those 5 ballparks you mentioned, PNC, and then Cleveland, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and of course Wrigley, you're going to have fantastic time at all 5. All 5.
You've been to all 5?
I have not, but I have close friends who have been to all 5 of those. My wife was actually in Cincinnati last year for a game at Great American Ballpark, and nothing but great reviews.
Cool.
Yeah, PNC is actually on my. We're trying to find a weekend to get to Pittsburgh just to go see a game at PNC. I've heard so many good things about it.
We have a couple more here on Friday, Feedback Friday, and I want to first let you know that Russ Armstrong of Chicago Window Guys is waiting for your phone call to make sure he can hook you up with good windows, with great windows, with better windows than you have right now. And maybe you've decided, we got to get rid of these. These are garbage. They look bad and they're not holding the temperature of the room. Don't wait then. Call Russ, so he can get out to your house and measure and explain the whole process to you. He's going to make the windows for your house, and then his people are going to install them. I've been through the process a couple times. Painless, absolutely painless. And the economics of it are far better than a lot of these other teaser deals that you hear out there. One, you get to work with Russ, so he's looking out for your best interests and making sure that you get the exact right windows. Not more window than you need, not less window than you need. And if you do have special requests for all kinds of cool things, the European style windows or French doors or sliding, he can do all of it. So don't worry. Just call him at 847-302-9171 and check out his 5-star reviews at ChicagoWindowGuys.com. He's going to match any price that you have out there. He'll explain why the other deals that you hear advertised aren't really what they say. And then he's going to make your windows here locally in Chicago at his factory. He's going to be the one giving you the estimate, and then you can compare with these other companies. Make sure you ask everybody else who's installing your windows, because they won't have an answer for you. Russ will be able to tell you by name the people installing your windows. Don't wait. Call Russ, 847-302-9171 and ChicagoWindowGuys.com. Zorba has thoughts. He says, this week, I started experiencing a strange pain in my upper thigh near my groin. Probably due to a mild case of hypochondria, as well as hearing you two idiots talk about it every day. I convinced myself it was an early sign of fatal taint swelling. I got right to my doctor. He looked at it. He told me there's nothing to worry about. Probably a soft tissue strain. Keep an eye on it. If it gets worse or spreads, go back for some imaging. This is a long way of telling you. I may have found a doctor who came close to joking about exploding taint syndrome. Because I said that nobody in the medical profession, when you talk about the Jardiance commercial, where it said if you have a swelling between the anus and genitals that could be fatal, I was like, wait, what? Huh? And doctors always say, oh no, don't mess with that. That's very serious. That's not funny. It's not funny. Don't joke about it. So when discharging me, she said it is very, very unlikely to be a problem. But she also put me under strict doctor's orders to pay extra close attention to my testicles for the next week. She suggested I make a journal and possibly make sketches for comparison, and she said this while laughing. Perhaps exploding taint syndrome is not funny in the least when it's diagnosed, but it can be mildly amusing when a moron self-diagnoses himself with the possibility.
That's good stuff.
It says, please, gentlemen, keep up the great work in bringing attention to this disease. Get your exploding taint syndrome screening today. Thank you, Zorba. Lastly, and this is for you. I saved this for you.
Oh, boy.
And this is awesome. And it was sent by Joey. I heard you guys talking about the theory that Maverick intentionally killed Goose.
Oh, okay. That's not a theory. It's a bullshit conspiracy thought from his lunatic.
It made me remember my very first day in school while I was in the Navy, learning about the cockpit. I was an aviation mechanic egress, which means I worked on the explosives that initiate the ejection sequence. All right, you with me?
Yep, got it.
Before we even sat down at our desks, the instructor hit play on the scene where Goose died.
Okay.
We watched the scene, and the instructor said, "This is bullshit." Now, this was 2002. So we could only assume he's done this in every class since he viewed the scene.
Mm-hmm.
To summarize, the explosives are designed to shoot the canopy backwards due to the sequencing. Front of the canopy goes first, etc. In milliseconds, the explosives fire and propel the canopy away from the plane. So the argument that he's in a flat spin, so the drag wouldn't pull the canopy away, falls on its face, and here's why. It is specifically designed not to happen, first and foremost. Furthermore, on top of the seat are little nubs that are literally called canopy breakers. If the explosives were to fail, these canopy breakers on the seat are designed to shatter the glass.
Mm-hmm.
There is no scenario in which Goose could hit his head on the canopy. Goose lives, I suppose, until Maverick inexplicably flies them into a tower trying to be cute.
All right. So what Schmutzy, his theory is that he did.
Okay. All right.
It's Schmutzy. So he survived the canopy collision, and out of embarrassment of what happened before the rescue helicopter gets there, he says Maverick swims over and spins his neck, as he puts it, and kills him.
He's not strong enough to break a guy's neck with his bare hands. It's not like a Steven Seagal movie.
Well, I think I mean,
come on.
I'd like to give it a try. I think I could.
No, thank you.
Seagal either.
Come on.
But that's his theory. So, but that's great information. That's great
fantastic.
And I love the fact that he's in the Navy and the guy actually shows the scene and then calls it bullshit.
You know what I love? I love the fact that this guy was in the Navy and didn't have a thought on Popeye.
That's right.
Right? So what were the odds that we're going to get all of these different
actual Navy guys
from members of the Navy? And some are like, well, I was issued this cap and this pea coat, and he was fired out of the data spinach. This, and these are completely separate thoughts in the same week.
That's great.
Yes.
Wait, is that the last email for Friday's Feedback Friday?
That's
okay.
It. Yeah.
Before we move on to top 10, I want to, because I've been saving this, I want to share this with you. I thought you would appreciate this. You remember Jennings Dunker, the offensive lineman that was drafted by the Steelers? Yeah. So I saw what he eats the night before and then the morning of a game, and I wanted to share it with you.
Okay.
So about 5:30 p.m. the night before a game, he'll eat 2 to 3 servings of pasta with marinara sauce, meat sauce. A basket.
Which one? Marinara sauce is not.
Well,
meat
he calls it meat marinara.
Okay.
Which it's not, but it's
No,
either meat or
yeah.
But anyway, 2 or 3 servings of pasta, a basket of bread rolls, a 12-ounce steak, and 2 servings of fruit. At 8:30 that night, he has a snack: 3 full hamburgers, 3 bags of baked Lay's potato chips, hot chocolate, and various hydration mixes.
Ugh.
Game day morning. 7:15, he'll eat 4 slices of toast, 2 large bowls of Wheaties, a stack of pancakes, and 2 chicken breasts. And then an hour and 45 minutes later at 9 a.m., 4 more slices of toast and 1 additional chicken breast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that tells me he needs all of those calories to keep effective weight on. And the moment he's done playing, he's going to lose 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He'll look unrecognizable.
Yep.
Except for this hair and the mullet and the mustache.
Yeah, it's like, is that even fun? Like, eating is a joy. Eating should be a joy.
Right.
And it should be special, if not fetishized the way some of us do it. It should just be something you look forward to.
You really enjoy it. Yes.
When eating becomes work.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
No.
But isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. But believe it or not, it sounds crazy. If you ask every NFL offensive lineman, you'd get something similar.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the caloric intake has got to be just insane.
It's ridiculous.
His post-game meal includes a double bacon cheeseburger, family-sized cheese curds, onion rings, and a minimum of 3 sides of ranch dressing.
Wait, family-sized cheese curds? I don't even know what that means.
Like
how many cheese curds could a family eat?
Well, when we go up to the Brat Stop, we always get cheese curds for the table. There's 6 of us. We get 1 basket. I mean, I could take it down myself. It's not a lot, but it's a large order. It's meant for the table. So, but yeah, I could do it. You know who has good cheese curds is Culver's.
Yeah, they do.
Food place.
You better believe it.
When the boys will want to go through there, like after baseball practice or whatnot, and I'll always get like a small cheese curd. It's really good for fast food.
You know what else is good there? Everything.
Oh yeah, no, their stuff is good. My favorite part about Culver's is the marquee out front. They always feature. And there's no punctuation at all or separation, but they feature the flavored custard of the day, followed by like the special fish sandwich of the day.
Yeah,
so the sign will read like Snickers milk, Snickers, mint chocolate walleye sandwich is back. That's how it reads.
Yeah, that's the one on 176, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know that one very, very well because it's after I fish at my fishing spot that may or may not be near there, I will sometimes drive by, and there's also I can go down to the corner where there is the BP station at Milwaukee where I generally will fill up and head home.
Yeah. God, what was gas I saw the other day was $6 for the ultimate stuff.
Yeah.
Even the cheap stuff was $4.99.
Oh, in the city, everything is like $5.25 now.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of which, while we're talking about cost of living and affordability stuff, I want you to tell me, the Mariano's right down here. I want you to tell me the current retail price of one can of chunky soup. Okay. This is the actual Campbell's chunky soup. Same or Progresso. They're the same price.
Okay.
For the same size can.
I got you.
How much do you think a can of soup costs at the Lakeshore East Mariano's?
$5.29.
You're off by $4.25.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. It's $4.25 for a can of soup.
Well, how much is it normally?
$2.25.
Is it really? Get out of here.
Yeah, it's almost double.
No way.
Yeah. And I used to complain about $2.25 and wait for it to go on sale when it was like, if you buy 5, you get them at $175 or $199. $4.25 for a can of soup.
It's normally $2.25 because my initial thought was it was around like $3.80 to $3.95.
No. When you say normally,
normally,
like, there is no normally anymore.
Okay, well, yeah, you're right.
It had been a while since I bought one, but I remembered it as being like around $2.25 regular, not full price.
$4.25, huh?
$4.25 for a can of soup.
Oh, I really overshot that one by $1.
But still, that's wild. All right, let me explain now in the top 10 list what happened here.
Okay, well, explain the top 10 list.
Well, the top 10 is the list of the most interesting players who've played for the Sox and the Cubs.
Okay, so you went with most because I gave you the category of
best.
10 players that played for the Sox and the Cubs. And I said, take it whatever direction you want.
Yes.
And you turned it into the most interesting.
Well, I turned it into something else.
In what regard? Most interesting? What do you mean?
I don't know. Just
okay.
The players, their stories or the fact that they played for both teams or just what was interesting about them. And it ended up being, it kind of went off the rails for me.
Excellent.
And this may end up being something else that we can do in the future, just something else that we can think about as time goes by here. Okay. So it's a much longer list than you think.
Oh no.
It really is. It's a lot of players in general when you look at the total group.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant your list. I was like, well, it should be 10, but okay.
No. If you look at the total, so here's the question I have for you. Just I thought this would be a little fun trivia exercise.
Give me a range though, because I will have no idea where to start. Give me a range.
Well, these are all people you should know and you will get.
Okay.
But none of these people are on the list. But can you name the 3 players who've played for the Cubs and Sox with the last name Jackson?
Darren
played with the Cubs from 85 to 89 and the Sox from 94 to 99.
Reggie didn't play for either. Other Jacksons for the Sox and the Cubs.
Yep, one's a pitcher, one's a position, one's a center fielder.
Oh, yeah. No, that's Johnson. Shoot. No, it's gonna be the other 2.
Okay, it's Austin Jackson.
Okay.
2015 with the Cubs, 2016 with the Sox, and the guy who played for every team, Edwin Jackson.
Oh, yeah, Edwin Jackson.
2010, 2011 with the Sox, 2013 to 2015 with the Cubs. I just thought those 3 Jacksons were interesting. But I want to start out with an honorable mention just because some of these, he ended up being like a better player than I thought he was. And that is number 10 on my list. Well, let me just get some names out of the way that I didn't put on the list. There's some of the best players, like Clark Griffith had a 46.6 WAR. Johnny Evers of Tinker to Evers to Chance played for both teams. Phil Cavaretta played for both teams. Hoyt Wilhelm played for both teams. But okay,
Johnny Evers played for the Sox.
I guess he did. He had a 0 WAR, but he did.
Okay.
Johnny Evers played for he was on the Cubs from 2002 to 1913, and he played one game for the White Sox in 1922.
Yeah, and then he was like, screw this.
Well,
not playing for the White Sox.
The same goes for number 2 on this list. But so I've got Dennis Lamp got special mention here. Dennis Lamp had 7.8 WAR with the Cubs and 6.1 WAR with the Sox. And then I was thinking too that as a kid, around the same time in Chicago, we had both Dennis Lamp and Dennis Lick. Do you remember Dennis Lick?
I don't.
From the Bears?
Mm-mm.
Big tackle. I want to say number 71. Big tackle. Dennis
Lick and Lamp.
Dennis Lamp and Dennis Lick, and both were large, dark-haired mustachio men. So I think they led the league in Dennis L. big mustache guys.
Okay.
Well, so that was an honorable mention. Also, I also put Don Kessinger on there because Kessinger was not only a player on both teams, Kessinger was the manager. He was player manager of the White Sox. He was on the Cubs from 64 to 75, and then the Sox from 77 to 79, and was the last player manager in town. Number 10. And this starts out how this list changed for me. I decided that I'm making some mergers here. And I am declaring that we're merging in the interest of efficiency, and like the McKinsey consultants that came in and they want more cost effectiveness from our baseball memories. Mm-hmm. And they said there's no point having 2 people when you can sort of mash the people into one.
Okay.
I'm merging Giovanni Soto and Wellington Castillo.
Why?
We don't need both of them.
Okay, fine.
We don't need both. They both played for the Cubs and the Sox. They were both catchers. So we're just going to make Giovannington Sotillo.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, they're now the same person.
We can do that.
All right, so this is going to be an exercise here. We are that as of right now, Giovanni Soto and Wellington Castillo are the same person. There, so done. That we just save money. We just cut a whole salary there, and we can go through and we can make sure that we stay on budget by cutting costs. So there's that. That's number 10.
Okay,
I'm doing the same at number 9. Because we don't need both Juan Pierre and Lance Johnson.
Fair, yes.
They both played for the Cubs and the Sox. Both played center field. Both slappy left-handed pigeon-toed fast guys, right?
Yep.
Who can't throw.
Yes.
Neither one, just puss-armed, pigeon-toed, slappy fast guys. So now Wance Pianson is a new guy.
But didn't Hawk did he have a magical love affair with Lance Johnson? Was it
one dog?
One dog, yeah.
One dog. Loved one dog.
Loved him.
Well, now he's got to also love Juan Pierre.
Because they're the same person.
Okay. That as of right now, they're the same guy.
All right. So, are you merging all 10 spots from 2 people?
No. I'm open to it though. That's the thing. If there are other potential mergers, because this goes back. This is something I've always wanted to do when we have redundancies in sports. We didn't need a punter named Louis Aguiar and a punter named Leo Aragus.
Do you combine them? Okay.
We combined them.
All right. No, that's fair for 10 and 9 right now.
Also in the NBA, we didn't need Matt Garrity and Matt Harpring. They were the same person.
Okay.
So we merged them. They've become the same. There's a couple more here that I'm doing this with.
Fair mergers.
Those are 2. Okay. Giovanni Soto, Wellington Castillo merged. Juan Pierre, Lance Johnson merged. Now,
so 10, 9, 8.
Number 8, I just have Oscar Gamble. I didn't know Oscar Gamble started his career with the Cubs in 1969, and Oscar Gamble is awesome.
I had
And
no idea. I had no idea he played for the
I
Cubs.
had absolutely no clue, and I saw that he played 24 games for the Cubs in 1969, and then went on to play for the Sox and the Yankees. Sox famously 77 to 85. And I just I loved Oscar Gamble. I put him at 8 just because I wanted to talk about him. Maybe the greatest afro in the history of baseball, up there with Gary Maddox. And that is an actual Maddox and not a Maddox. But there were
Maddox, yes.
Bake McBride and some others, but Oscar Gamble there near the top of that list.
Cubs, Phillies, Indians, Yankees, White Sox, Padres, Rangers, Yankees, White Sox.
Yep.
Wow. Had no idea he was with the Cubs.
I didn't either, but he was.
That magical year of 1969.
Number 7 for the most interesting Sox and Cubs. Interesting doesn't have to be good. Number 7 is Craig Kimbrell. I don't get it. I've kind of I don't the whole like end career Kimbrell thing. Like ever since he left the Braves, he's been bad, and he keeps getting. I think he's still in the league. People keep trotting him out there.
Is he
and
really?
He keeps doing his thing. And I remember being at Wrigley the day the Cubs got him, and Kyle Schwarber walked out on the field and like signaled to everybody, his teammates before the game, by doing the Kimbrell thing, and everybody got excited. And here come the Cubs. They got Craig Kimbrell to shore everything up. Ugh. All right.
Oh, he's currently a New York Mets.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Number 6. We have another merger.
Okay.
And this is more of an acquisition. I think this is more one is subsuming the other, but we don't need both Nick Madrigal and Nicky Lopez.
Fair. Done.
Okay. Both played for the Cubs and the Sox.
Yep.
We are going to roll Nicky Lopez into Nick Madrigal.
All right. So then who would the Cubs have on their roster today?
Whoever. It's the same thing. It's just Nicky Madrigal. And that going forward, that they're going to be the same entity. Nick Madrigal, Nicky Lopez becomes Nicky Madrigal. Because you go through these lists and you're like, why do we have 2 of these? These are redundant pieces. Number 5, because I find him interesting as a former Cubs and Sox, is Rich Gossage. Because he was an up-and-comer with the White Sox, the flame-throwing right-hander, who then, as we know, settled into a Hall of Fame career as really the archetypal closer. The whole idea of the guy with the Fu Manchu mustache who stares you down and throws inside, that whole thing, that's Goose Gossage. Now, he had 41.1 career WAR and only 9.7 of them with the Chicago teams. He got to the Cubs long after he was done or at his best as a closer, adding him to a long list of people who and closers would love to come and die with the Cubs, whether it was Rick Aguilera or Mel Rojas or some of these, or all these Astros they keep getting. Although nice job. Phil Maton was decent last night. He was decent. Although I think some of it was by mistake, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It works.
Doesn't matter, right?
Yep.
Number 4, we have another merger.
Okay.
Because they both played for both the Cubs and the Sox.
Mm-hmm.
They have both been kind of meh for both the Cubs and the Sox. One played Cubs 06 to 08 and the Sox 97 to 2000. The other was a Cub 2000 to 2007 and a White Sox from 11 to 12. I am combining Scott Ayer and Will Oman. They're now Squat Oyer. Same dude. Lefty, loogie, fine.
Good.
Stevie Ayer. That's his name. I call him Stevie Ayer. He didn't know his name. So Scott, sorry guys, but you've been merged, and Scott Ayer and Will Oman are now combined into one person named Squat Oyer.
All right. So what do you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I had a little honorable mention here. I scribbled in the name Ross Glode for some reason.
Oh yeah, Ross Glode.
Why is it?
Remember him?
What
do you
want? The stadium light up. Ross Glode.
Are you on 3?
Yes.
Any more? Do you have any mergers left in these 3?
No, we're done with mergers.
Okay, done with mergers. Okay. All right. So I know one of the 3 that's left. I'm trying to think of the other 2.
These should be easy.
Well, they should be, yeah, but I'm also dumb. All right. Well, I know Sosa's one of them, so we're
that's number 3.
Sosa's 3. Okay.
Number 3 is Sammy Sosa, who put up 58.8 B-WAR with the Cubs and 1.1 with the White Sox. And the reason why he's interesting is because he was 2 different people. It almost is like it's not the same person. And we know why that is, but he just, as a White Sox, he was very much like Luis Robert. He was a big, like a strong, toolsy, fast guy, great athlete, and then he just became Sammy. He became this giant, the international star of stars, and hitting his home runs and with his hop and his kisses and his things. And Sammy Sosa is number 3 on this list.
I mean, we're not looking for quality of player. Is Jose Quintana 1 or 2?
No.
George Bell?
No.
All right, what do you got for me at number 2?
Ron Santo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot Santo played for the Sox.
Well, he would prefer that you did too, because apparently he was miserable when he was on the White Sox, but it was a matter of, I guess, retire or extend your career a little bit, and that was the opportunity he got. And it was not fun for him. And in 72.1 WAR with the Cubs and negative 1.6 with the White Sox.
What year was that with the Sox?
74.
74, okay.
He batted .221 with 5 home runs in 1974, played more second base than third base, and did some DHing. And I think he was miserable, and White Sox fans weren't all that happy to have him either. He was always a polarizing player.
Yeah.
And it was odd. It looked weird in the uniform. It was uncomfortable for everybody involved. So Ron Santo, I do find that interesting that he finished his career with the White Sox.
Yeah, totally forgot that.
He's number 2.
All right. And then number 1 is?
Number 1 for reasons beyond just the baseball itself. By far the most significant and interesting Cubs Sox crossover is Steve Stone. Not only because he was equally effective with both teams, 6.1 wins above replacement with the Cubs, 6.3 wins above replacement with the Sox. He was a legendary broadcaster with the Cubs and now has arguably become the same with the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of putting Harry Carey on the list. We talked about Harry Carey several days ago. You could put Len Casper on the list as well, but only Stoney was a player for both and the broadcaster for both.
Yeah, and like the best.
Yeah.
Huh, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah, so I just thought and a lot of this we were talking about because Liam Hendricks just signed that minor league contract with the Cubs. I did consider merging Kimbrel and Hendricks, but they're too different.
Yeah, don't do that to Hendricks. He can still be a factor this year. So.
Yeah, correct. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that to him.
But yeah, I just thought the easy number 1 on this, just as far as the layers. There's the layers involved and the relationships that he's had and the relationships with the different ownerships, all of it. Steve Stone is number 1, the most interesting crossover Sox Cubs as player and as a broadcaster. And that is this week's top 10 list.
Yeah, I got to get in touch with Stoney. I still have that. I have a 1980 Baltimore Orioles jersey. I'd love for him to sign.
Oh, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it while he's on this side of the grass.
Well, I can't do it when he's on the other side.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean,
That'd be kind of hard to go and ask him then.
right? But I'm saying, you gotta do these things. You got to make sure, because otherwise because it's all about you, and it's all about whether or not you can make sure the value of that jersey appreciates.
Oh no, it's not value for anyone else but me.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
Yeah.
Have a lovely, safe weekend, especially if you're going to the rate and you're planning on supporting your favorite Chicago team. Just don't be an idiot. Everybody's just there to watch baseball. Have fun, and we will talk on forward progress a little bit later today, and then back on Monday.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.